Hello everyone, and welcome to Snowfell Charm School, and I'm your host, Evangeline. Together we're going to explore how personality affects our human interactions, focusing on relationships such as friends, families, and lovers. First, I'd like to start by doing a bit of an aura cleanse to clear out any negative energies that you might have brought into class today, alright? I'm going to start by working around your face and moving towards your stomach. If you don't mind, I'm just going to have you stay still, and I'll let you know if I need you to do anything else as we go through this procedure. I'm going to start by around your face, those ears, the third eye, and the mouth today. Alright, if you don't mind lifting your chin, I'm going to get your neck, your collarbones, and each shoulder. I'm going to polish all that up, starting around your face, those ears, under the chin, the neck, the collarbone, the shoulders, and I almost forgot the third eye. Alright, if you don't mind doing a little spin for me, I'm going to brush off the back of your aura. Perfect. I'm going to brush off the back of your head, the back of your ears, the back of your neck, your shoulder blades, and down the spine. So if you don't mind sitting up for me. Very good. Going to polish all of that up. Back of the head, behind the ears, the neck, the shoulder blades, and down the spine. Wonderful. If you could spin back around for me, I'm going to finish up by brushing off your heart and your stomach. So maintain that posture and activate those abs. Alright, I'm going to polish up around your heart and polish up that stomach. Alright, very good. How do you feel? Relaxed? Wonderful. We're going to proceed by laying out a case study in which we're going to focus on a particular type, and we'll together analyze that individual and categorize the type in which they would best fit into. Alright? I'm going to do a quick shuffle. And one more time for 3. And we'll see which cards we get out today. Oh, I almost forgot to offer you some refreshments. Let me take a moment to pause. Here we have some rose popcorn, a nice little salty treat for you. That sounds divine. I'm going to just place this back over here. You're welcome to partake as much as you like. We also have a bit of candy, as you'll see here. Very, very sweet, very delicious, a little tangy, a little goes a long way, but again, you may have as much as you like. And I'm also going to offer you a beverage. Something a little sparkling, something a little soft, refreshing, if you will. I'm gonna keep this here. I'm gonna have a little bit of mine as well. Isn't it nice to share a meal together? really does boost up that serotonin. I want to make sure that you're nice and relaxed for the messagings that we have today. I feel that relaxation stimulates the mind in a way that invokes clarity and staves off confusion. Now that that's done, I will proceed to lay out our case study. I want it one more card, I think. And look at that. Perfect. Okie dokie. So I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck. It has not yet been it hasn't been a crucial variable in our case study so far, but I will continue to do it in case it does show its importance sometime later on in our classes together. I'm just gonna turn this music down just a little bit so that I can hear myself think. We do have the Magician here at the bottom of the deck. You can see that there. Don't know how that is going to pertain to our case study, if it does at all. But we are going to start with the subject of our case study. Our client here is going to be represented by the Six of Pentacles. So I do think that this is going to be a dependent. This is going to be a dependent personality. And underneath we have the 10 of Wands. The 10s are all about completion. The Wands are all about exertion. So this is someone who is kind of the status of struggling, the status of working. We also have above that the 9 of Swords here. That's worry, anxiety, fear. So I do think that this is going to be a dependent personality. I think this is someone who's soft-hearted and struggling. They are known to be the victim type of personality. It seems to be rather popular, at least to mask a lot of disagreeable individuals, or lots of people who are low in agreeability, according to my notes here, will mask with a dependent personality, the woe is me type of energy. They, in the dependents, also tend to be really popular with the low agreeable individuals as far as a partner goes. I guess it would be a matter of boosting a form of dopamine. I'm off the top of my head, I'm just thinking that an ego boost is a form of dopamine boost. So others being around that dependent people. Some people may have dependent people around them so that they can look down on them, and that makes them feel better, probably more appealing, more sexually appealing than a dependent, because they have what they consider a backbone. So that's something. That's something. A little rude, but that's something. We also have here on one side we have the Elder of Swords here, as well as the Chariot. So this is someone who is careful with their words and is This is someone who is careful with their words and let's see. I'm gonna put that down for a second. I'm just going to compare careful with the words with on the other side we have judgment. So this is someone who is maybe concerned about being a good person. Yes. Maybe concerned about being a good person. So if that is the case, we have the Chariot above. Someone who is careful with their words, maybe has a good filter. Someone who doesn't always say the first thing that comes to mind. This could be someone who uses that to get ahead. I think this is a very interesting perspective for our dependents here. If this is indeed dependence, this could be, oh, you know what this could be? This could be schizoid. Yeah, this could be schizoid. Oh, hyper independence. Yeah, a filtering of the voice. Yes. Calls judgment and with the Three of Wands sees expansion. So this is someone who observes. This is a very observing type of individual. Yes, I would say this is probably schizoid instead of dependent like I thought. I guess I just want to talk about dependence at some point. But, and we'll get there eventually. And I could have sworn that this Six of Cups was going to be an indicator of a dependent. But I guess this is an independent of a schizoid. This is someone who maybe had some struggles growing up, a difficult childhood, maybe someone who wants to get back to a simpler life, someone who's maybe like closed off and kind of lingers in the past. Yes, schizoid. I would say schizoid. Someone who sees struggle and is struggled from the past and is worried about the future. Yes. This is someone who sees trouble and has to defend themselves. Very closed off energy so far. I mean, I was pretty sure when I read those first three cards, but here we are. On the far side, we have the Child of Swords with the World. I had to cover her up a little bit because you guys love to slut shame on YouTube apparently. Think about that. So this is someone who likes to know about some stuff, likes to talk about stuff, likes to talk about maybe the world or how things should be. Yes. This is someone who is a little bit like the world is like kind of too messed up to participate in. That's what I'm getting. And on the other side, we have the Child of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands. So this is someone who's looking for security, any bit of security. I'll turn this down a little bit. Every time they do a little operetta, it's a little harder for me to think. I guess I'm trying to hear what they're saying, but I don't speak Latin, so I have no idea what they're saying. But yeah, this is someone who's looking for stability, is almost a little bit, they'll hold on to anything they can get their hands on, I guess. Or struggles to receive. Yeah, this might be someone who struggles to receive, let's say that. This is someone who struggles to receive even the littlest thing. Yes. For our schizoid individual here, I would say that the schizoid individual is rather low in dopamine, or being low in the ability to produce it, low in their, I would say that's about it. I think that they can produce a good bit of serotonin. Um, since they are a little bit of a homebody, they can present in that way. They can present the opposite way. They can be very hoarder-ish as well. So they do very much want to keep as much as they can, so they don't have to ask anybody for anything, because socializing is kind of a bit stressful. Like a bit of like almost like a social anxiety, but because of the personality is a little bit like more fixed than that. They are low in agreeability. They're also low in extroversion, though their priority is to be low in extroversion. They will be nice, but maybe not for long. They do not like to be bothered. So again, they don't like to participate in social events or socializing in general. I would say that if you can get close to a schizoid individual, they'll be really good at providing oxytocin, especially if you get a good schedule down. But if you become a little bit overwhelming or burdensome, they will withdraw, so that can affect how you absorb the oxytocin from them from that point on. I would say that I've done a deep analysis on how each of our personality types I've done a deep analysis on how each of the personalities are viewed by the others. But I have not gone so far as to get to the schizoids. I could do a few real quick. I would say that maybe the schizoid, if you identify as a schizoid personality type, then I think that another schizoid personality type would be conducive. You don't have to worry about the pressure of going out or having to converse with people or having lengthy conversations or anything like that. I do think that a schizoid could feel protected by a paranoid, because the paranoid will keep a lot of other people at bay. So I think that might increase the level of dopamine, if you will. You can feel very prized and valuable if someone wishes to protect you from everyone else in the world. It's kind of like to keep you to yourself. A schizoid might be interested in the jealous type. I would say the paranoid would be in the jealous type. Antisocial is also a bit of a jealous type, but I don't think that would be harmonious. They both don't really like people, but the antisocial is a bit higher in the extroversion. So they probably would bring people around or draw a lot of attention to themselves. So if you're schizoid, you're likely not interested in having a lot of attention on you. I think the combination of a schizoid and borderline would be interesting. I think the borderline would see the schizoid as a little bit of a victim. The borderline individual tends to seek out victims to produce that hero aspect in them. I think histrionic probably would not be a good match at all. Social is probably not a good match at all. Stable is probably a good match. You're probably looking for someone who has quiet hobbies if you're a schizoid. If you have schizoid personality, you might be looking for someone who's rather chill, rather stable. I think that would be probably a good place to promote more of that oxytocin. I think that a schizoid and an obsessive could also make an interesting combination, at least when it comes to serotonin. I think that the obsessive could, it's kind of like the obsessive could better the environment for the schizoid, and that would probably you as a schizoid personality would probably enjoy that because your personal space is very valuable to you. So the increase in value will probably be rather lovely. Um, Schizoid and narcissist won't get very far. The schizoid personality is very observant, so they are going to be able to call. They're going to be able to, they see an elephant in the room, they are going to point it out. The schizoid individual is very clear in what they see. They might not say everything that they see, but they do. They are very certain at what they see. A schizoid and avoidant could be interesting. They definitely would enjoy their time apart. I don't know how much they would enjoy their time together, though. Yeah, I would say a schizoid with a schizotypal would not be good. That's a little bit too erratic, too unpredictable. Schizoid is very fixed. I would say that the schizoid is a little bit into the Virgo energy. Very, very stable, very observant, very organized, I would say. Yeah, I'm sure the schizoid personality types out there would enjoy that. I don't really have too much to say about them. They are pretty straightforward. I feel like most of our time was thinking that this was a dependent, so I think that's kind of like it's also a good indicator of the personality type that we're working with here. I'm going to pull some gratitude cards to see how we can appreciate our schizoid friends a little bit more. That's interesting, to say the least. Okay. I think that the schizoid, us talking about the schizoid personality type, and me forgetting to offer you any refreshments before we got into the reading is a little bit canon to what we're talking about here, if I'm using that word right. They're not really too much into fluff. They want to get kind of like straight to the point. They're very like, they see past all of that. They don't need all of that. They're not looking for that. They're very, they've worked really hard to content themselves. So offerings from others, like I said, with the Child of Pentacles, they do struggle a little bit with accepting pleasantries. I think that's going to be it. We also have here at the bottom of the deck for gratitude is going to be the Five of Cups. So the schizoid individual can tend to linger in the past, especially the wrongs, things that went wrong. They tend to linger in that. They're not very, I wouldn't say that they're very optimistic. I'm certain that they would describe themselves as realistic, but that is to everyone's perspective. I'm not going to say that that's how everything should be, because everyone's different and they deserve to be who they are all the time. We have the Magician here again. So like we had on the bottom of the deck when we pulled out the card to identify our case study. So this is probably someone who, or at least something that we can appreciate about our schizoid individual, is that they they're kind of like that magician in the sense of like almost like a crystal ball kind of thing. Like again, they can see things a little bit clearer than other people. It's not as crystal bally though, I would say. They're not really into fantasy thinking. Um, yeah, they're not really into fantasy thinking. I think the closest that they'll get to that is a form of like established religion. Um, yes, and I think some religions really do, especially when it calls from like a concept of good and evil. I think they really hone in on that. Um, they think that they might think that there's a little bit more evil than there is good in the world. Um, and so they need to protect the goodness that they have, or just simply need to protect themselves. We also have the adult of pentacles, so this is again going to be someone who's very like discerning with their relationships. um, yeah, they don't make friends with everybody, and anyone that they call a friend they kind of keep at a distance. Everyone kind of has their place, everyone kind of has their role, and their role is a little bit more independent, a little bit more isolative. We also have the Ace of Cups here, which suggests that um, uh, they're really emotional, especially about the past. They're very past oriented. They're very past oriented, and they're going to be thinking about the wrongs that have happened to them. They're not really too worried about other people taking advantage of them. They're kind of past that. If they were more anxious about the future, the Nine of Wands did kind of suggest that they were a little bit more of the fearful type, but I think that they were. I think that if a paranoid and schizoid individual are kind of similar in these senses, their priorities are just different. They do think that they can defend themselves as long as they keep a distance from other people, while the paranoid tend to think that the only way to protect them is to be offensive and take action against seen threats. This isn't someone who sees others as a threat, but they do see others as like not able to help them. So they can be a little bit on the victim side when it talks about their past, but they're very much in the notion of I used to be a victim, and now I see better. I'm smarter now. They can be a little bit judgmental of the naive. Um, yes, and they can be a little bit judgmental of like the people around them, especially from the past. They definitely look at them as like not doing their due diligence. We also have the Six of Swords, so this is someone who likes to retreat. Again, their personal space is their safe place. Yes, yeah, I would say I would say that this is going to be a good person if you can maintain a good image in their eyes. They'll definitely see you as someone they can talk that you can talk to. They definitely would allow you to talk to them. They do like to communicate. They do like a little bit of gossip. But they're mostly looking for that as like, see, I knew I shouldn't have, I'm glad I'm here, not over there. Like, kind of that type of energy. As far as love goes, if they're looking for friends, if they're looking for friends, I would say that they could be really close with the obsessive. They can be really close friends with the obsessive. Can definitely work well with the obsessive. They're okay with having clear direction and knowing exactly what to do. Although the obsessive is a bit extroverted, so they probably can't spend too much time with them, but I don't think the schizoid individual spends too much time with anybody. If they did spend a lot of time with anybody, it would be a stable personality type. I would definitely recommend that for a romantic sense. I don't know exactly how the schizoid would come across them, since the schizoid tends to be in their own little space. Maybe through work, um, maybe through, if they are religiously affiliated and it is established religion, they could meet at a place of worship. And if you do that, if you are into that and you're single, you could go there. You could go to your place of worship and look for someone who is very calm, especially during dramatic situations. So if something dramatic happens while you're at your place of worship, maybe look past everybody else, which I think you're going to be really good at. Look past everyone else and see who is the calmest in the room, and then I would definitely show that some interest in them or court them, depending on how you want to do it. I definitely do think that it would be a little bit more that you're showing interest in them. The schizoid doesn't seem like it has enough extroversion to court someone actively. I would definitely stay away from any dependence, and I think that you would be rather annoyed by a dependent, but we're not talking about what to avoid, we're talking about what to look for. So friends, look for an obsessive and keep clear boundaries. As far as a lover, I would look for a stable individual, very chill, calm, very chill and calm individual. As far as family goes, who you're going to be looking out for would be, I would say that you might be looking out for your borderline relationships. They are going to take really good care of you. They're going to take care of things outside of the home if you need them to be done. They will put the effort into running errands. And as long as you allow them to talk freely to you without judgment, you should have a wonderful relationship with that family member. As for another lover possibility would be a paranoid. I think that could work for you guys. So you are going to look, so a paranoid individual is going to make themselves very known through their rather obvious grumpiness, their accusatory type of language. I think you might resonate with that, to emphasize how you're not that trusting of other people, which, there are people out here that will take advantage of you, like the narcissist. So, especially, especially you, they'll definitely try to antagonize you, because the narcissist doesn't like to be seen, and the schizoid is very, very, very observant. You're going to know a narcissist when you see one. If you identify as a schizoid personality and you believe you know a narcissist, you're likely right. Yes, I would say paranoid and stable. I think paranoid would be really great to invoke that dopamine for you. I think stable would be just an overall and general good relationship for you. Obsessive would make a good friend for momentary times, and borderline would make a good family member to associate with. This was a little bit of a short one. I'm not really surprised by it based off our personality types here. Very clear, very straightforward, not a lot of fluff, very obvious, very easy for you to find someone who is your speed. Just continue looking with your eyes, you're good at that, or your nose or your ears, whatever it is that you sense other people's bullshit, you got it. You got it. You're very, very good at giving advice. You're very, very good at giving advice. You can be a little bit, you can invoke fear in other people though. So I would be careful about, I would be careful with other, I mean, honestly, you can't help it, but I do advise other people not to come to the schizoid personality type if you are trying to establish yourself. Or try something new. Schizoid and personality types do not like newness; they like routine. So so the schizoid personality is definitely going to give advice on how to be routine, or they're going to be very good at advising you in what conveniences to look for. The schizoid can be a bit of a shopaholic. They're a little bit retail therapy-esque, especially with online shopping. Anything that can be delivered to them, they will have it delivered to them. So you can get some great advice on, like, I do think that if you're a schizoid individual and you're looking for something to do with your free time, I think that writing reviews would be really, 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 really helpful for you, for others, definitely for others. I think it would be fun for you. You can definitely give your opinion about things. If you don't like something, that's exactly where you take that energy. You definitely have the power to make and break a lot of businesses with your clear observations and your ability to word that. I think that you do have you have a really good way of wording things. Yeah, you're very good at communicating, which you probably just don't communicate for long periods at a time. Or if you do, you will probably need a lot of recovery time. I would definitely say that you are kind of like candid introvert. If you do go out, you kind of like it to be almost like a private type of outing. Definitely not a social event. If you are looking to get out, I would suggest maybe like some walks in the park, or chores, if you're into that. If it's too much on your, if chores are too much on your, too high of an extroverted activity, again, the borderline family member would definitely be helpful for that. Otherwise, I think like long car rides would be good for you. Any type of like solitary escape. Yes. Anything that you can go to and leave independently. I definitely would not ride with anybody. I think you need that freedom, that autonomy. Yes. I think that though I would worry about the paranoid in that sense. If you're gone for too long, the paranoid will think that you're up to no good. So if you do not want any backlash from that, then I would stay away from the paranoid. If you're okay with dealing with backlash and you can de-escalate really easily, that could be a really good source of dopamine for you. That can get really hot and heavy if you're into that. Yeah. I would say that if you are a schizoid in your relationship with a paranoid, you can track people on your phones now. I think that maybe providing that little bit of security would be very helpful for the paranoid. They might still think that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, but that is their personality type, so we can't be mad at it. They are just being who they are. If you do not want that, I would definitely go with stable, because you can be gone for a while and they'll be happy as long as you come back. They're very, very understanding. Very, very understanding. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, that's absolutely your choice, and I completely respect it. I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. If you do not wish to have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, then that's totally your choice, and I completely respect it. Okay, until next time, guys. Bye.